What you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
This is Karen from Time Genies. We know time is our most precious commodity, so let Time Genies help you with tasks such as home organising, small business cleaning, relocation services and lots more. My team of high quality and trusted professionals is your one-stop shop for your personal and corporate needs. Let us help you reduce stress and give you time to do the things you want to do. Making memories. Check the Time Genies website for more info. Go to www.time-genies.com.
We'll try not to too much talk over each other, but again, we are girls and we are
agree to disagree.
And I was like, okay,
Moving on.
well, the makeup bottle.
Not little.
Looks like a cracked out T-bird, some grease.
Yeah.
She's got that black hair. Welcome to ChickChat. It is your favorite guilty pleasure here on the Mesh Podcast Network. Thank you for joining us. I'm Mary Margaret, and I am joined, as always, by my East Coast friend, Jeanette. How you doing?
I'm good. Hello.
Good to talk to you. It's been, since our last podcast.
Yeah.
And you know what? Not a lot has changed for me during that time.
I'm still in my house, so the world around me is opening up, and I'm saying, "Yep, you go. I'll follow."
I'll wait and see what happens to the first round of people.
Right.
So you're in North Carolina, and where are you on the COVID reopening stage?
So our state is on phase 2, which allows for a little bigger gathering. So, I think up from 10. I don't quite know. I don't know for certain what the max number is, but it does allow for more things to open. So we've got salons opening. I think some of them have been opening on just like a case by case basis. But our stores are still doing half capacity. So if you go to any stores, you still have to, if there's people inside, they have a greeter outside that is counting the number of people that are in the store. So that was as of last weekend. I think we're about on our second or third week of opening. So actually just got a notice today that my daughter's soccer will start reopening with training, smaller training sessions with less people. So not quite her full team, but about half of her team will start practicing around the second full week of June.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, so that's coming. The school system has, as of yesterday, offered a virtual academy. So schools are still planning to open for in school, in class, inside the building learning in August, but they're offering for parents who just aren't comfortable with that as of yet, a virtual academy. I don't really know what that looks like. You have to apply for it, but they're also offering like a half and half. So you can do some of your day in the classroom and you can do some of it virtually. So, I mean, we're slowly opening up and seeing what's happening, but I think it's still kind of a new normal. Opening up isn't going to look like everybody just go back to doing what they were doing before. It's we're open, but so you wouldn't be able to tell it by the number of people that are out. I mean, it's crazy out there. But we're still hunkering down with Leslie Jordan. Just see what he's up to, and
I love him. Well, here in Washington, we are still in phase 1. I'm not quite sure how North Carolina is doing it. I know you have phases, but I'm not sure if it's all statewide or if you guys do it by county. We do it by county. So I live in Clark County, and you have to apply as a county to enter into every next phase. And so for each phase, you have to meet certain criteria. Like you couldn't have had a certain number of cases within a certain amount of days. And it's like a little chart. You have to meet all the requirements before you can apply. And then the governor approves or doesn't approve. you to move forward to the next phase. So really our whole state's in all different levels. We applied for phase two. We, being Clark County, applied for phase two last Friday. And when we sent in the application, about 30 minutes after that, news broke that the fruit and berry processing plant in Clark County had an outbreak within their employees. There was about 68 employees affected, and they were starting the, what do you call it, where you like connect the people that
The
they do this like
tracing.
little report where they make you go and tell everybody that you've come in contact with for the last 2 weeks or whatever.
Oh, wow.
So anyway, they're doing that right now. So of course our application was like, nope, sorry, you guys now just
Wow.
went over the numbers again. So we kind of have to wait until that thins out to apply for stage two. So stage one for us really, or phase one, excuse me, is just it's the same as regular lockdown. It's just except for golf and car washes are open.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
golf
Does
and car
have
washes.
they golf? Well, I can understand golf. I mean, you can easily socially distance with that. Car wash.
Right.
So our car wash. Again, I don't know if this is statewide, but at least locally in our around our area, a couple of the car washes that are more full service. So they have the um like the ones that you do yourself. I haven't seen as much restrictions, but
Sure.
certainly the ones that are more
Like Wiki
national
Wiki where you just
brand.
drive through.
Yeah, the ones where you just go through the automatic thing and they take you through whatever wash you want to do. That part's open, but their vacuums are not.
Huh.
So those are like the national chain ones. I don't know if it's national chain or just a North Carolina chain, but it's a chain of those type of car washes. But the ones where you can just pull your car into the little carport and vacuum your car, like the locally owned ones,
Yeah.
those seem to be open and packed.
Well, thank goodness, you
Yeah.
know? I mean, my husband was joking because he's like, well, if you open up the car washes, what do we do at home while we're on quarantine? Because we've washed our cars like 4 times during this whole
Yeah.
thing. Like, just hand
Might as
washed them.
well,
We're like,
right?
kids, you've got to learn how to hand wash cars.
Right.
So,
You never
life
know.
skills. That's right. But now, I mean, now, my God, I'm just going to go to one that's opened up. Thank you, phase one.
So, have they mentioned anything about school in the fall for you guys?
Not really. Our schools are still going right now because um our timing is different. Like so our school isn't done yet.
Okay.
And we had a couple of days tacked on to the end for the first week of coronavirus, but then also for a couple snow days. And so we're playing that out right now. So the kids still have like a week and a half left of school or so.
Okay.
But there was an email from the superintendent of the state the other day, just kind of talking about how it was going to be different coming back, and they just really don't know what is going to happen. But um, yeah, he mentioned that there could be some rotation, sort of like you talked about, where maybe there
Mhm.
was some in class stuff and then some virtual stuff, and it's like a rotation. Um, I don't know. I know a lot of universities are doing things where they start a couple weeks earlier in August and then they finish up by Thanksgiving and then have their exams online. And that way people are not going home at Thanksgiving and then coming back and having been in different environments, possibly
Yeah,
bringing the virus in.
that makes sense.
So, yeah, totally makes sense. But I mean, how do you stop kids from going home on the weekend?
Yeah.
Or if we have kids going virtually half the time in grade school and high school and stuff, aren't they going home every day to people that have parents that are going to work or whatnot? Who knows? I don't really know. And I'm definitely
Well, I
not a
think
scientist.
maybe
I'm
the
definitely
thought
not a doctor.
is, yeah, I think the thought is probably if you're going on vacation, if you're going to some grandma's house in Ohio and you're coming back during the school year, you're going to be at
Mhm.
home. You're going to be, maybe that's the thought. I don't know. I have seen I obviously don't have anyone or any kids in college, but I have read a couple of colleges opening saying we're going to have a little longer break. So once, you know,
Right.
once they would go home for Thanksgiving, typically they'd come back a week later. They're saying, nope, just stay home until the first of the year.
Yes.
And then we'll
They'll
figure
be
it out
all
then. So
done
they're
for the
getting a longer
holidays.
break. Yeah, we're just going to extend that, which is,
Right.
honestly, that's the way it was when I was in school. So I graduated from Ohio University.
God,
And
you're
when
so
I was in
old.
school,
They used to do it that way
yeah.
back in the
So
old days.
yeah, we were actually
No.
on, back then when I was at Ohio University, we were actually on the quarter system. So the way
Yeah.
our quarters would work is we'd go to school from right after Labor Day in September up until Thanksgiving break. And then we had this 6 week break between Thanksgiving and um, the first of the year. So we wouldn't go to school
Mhm.
at all in December,
Yeah.
and we would start back right after the new year, and that would be our second quarter. They have
Yeah.
since switched to semesters since I've graduated. Within the last 5 years or so, or 10 years maybe, they've switched to the semester system where it is now. It's, you do your 6 months and then you have your break and then you come back for your
Hmm.
the rest of it. But yeah, I mean, when I read that, I was like, well, yeah, that's what we used to do. That can work. You're just going to have to switch from quarters to semesters. So
Yeah.
and it was great for us because we got all the seasonal jobs. No one wants to hire somebody for a week.
Sure.
And we're going to be there for 6 weeks. So,
Sure.
but
No, that,
yeah,
I definitely see it. I mean, goodness, whenever we used to come back from Thanksgiving break, it was only like 2 weeks before they let you back out for Christmas again
right.
because
Really,
you always had a little bit longer holiday break. But
you're pretty
anyway,
much coming back to take exams and then go back home.
right. Yeah. Um, so you said your salons are opening up. Have you had a haircut during quarantine, whether it be by yourself or from someone else?
No, and I'm looking shaggy. Thank God I
Mhm.
have curly hair. Well, I don't know, maybe
Right?
not because it's puffy. Um,
Yeah.
but I'm not brave enough to attempt it on my own, and I'm not brave enough to let anybody in this house attempt it either. So I'm just like, I'll bun it up as long as I can, or just wash and
Yeah.
go. But no, I haven't. Again, I'm on one of those. I'm not actually. I'm still on travel restrictions for work,
Yes.
so there's not a big need for it right now. So I'm like, I can wait. And when we're able to
Yeah.
travel again, and I actually have to see people in person, then I'll freshen up for it. But
Yes.
I'll tighten it up and get it snipped and cut and make it look good. But no,
Sure.
I'm letting the gray fly.
Yeah.
My hair's super long, which my husband loves, and I'm like, it's hot, but
It's getting summertime.
right, like it's all these curls are thick, and it's your neck gets a little warm, but
Yeah. Well, I've I've always had somewhat like hair no longer than my shoulders. I mean, like mine's typically been like chin length, like shorter. I'm like you, I've got curls, so that kind of happens like on its own. But yeah, my hair's the longest it's ever been right now. It's also the fullest, which is the annoying part.
yeah,
I kind of reserved myself whenever I moved out here that I was like, I'm gonna grow my hair out a little bit, let it get a little bit longer, like so I can totally be hippie chic and like pull it up in a messy bun and put on a bandana or whatever, right? Like that's what I was gonna do. Well, I didn't plan on it this way being the case, but I'm like you. So my husband, who has been on travel restrictions, but his industry has now gone back into the essential network of things. And so he's
mhm,
able to very minimal travel for only when necessary. And it's really kept to like a small area around us. Um, so that he was so frustrated with his hair getting longer. And I mean, it looked fine. It looked totally fine. But he was so frustrated. And he got called about going to to see a client um, in Las Vegas last week. And he called the client and asked if they had barbershops open yet out there. And the guy said, yep, and I've got a good one. And Wes said, make me an appointment. So my husband flew to Las Vegas for a haircut. I mean, he was going for work too, but he was more excited about the haircut. Got a super good but really short haircut, and now he's flaunting it around all of us.
Oh,
So,
like I got a haircut. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I mean, good for you. But my salons are not back open. Um, and I'm just learning all kinds of new things to do with my hair. So my kids like will sit down and play with my hair and stuff, and they're like, "Mommy, it goes in a ponytail." And I'm like, "I know. What's going on?"
Yeah, my
So,
daughter's asking me to cut her hair, and I'm like, I mean,
yeah. Well, my youngest said the other day, she was like, "Mommy, my hair is getting so long. I really need a haircut." And I was like, "I know, but things aren't open yet. We can't go get our haircut yet." She goes, "Let's go to Las Vegas." And I'm like, "No, your daddy is putting bad things in your mind."
yeah, I
Um,
didn't trust myself to with the scissors. I'm like, no, because I'll cut it short, and then it'll be like this humongous breakdown, and because I'll be trying to make it even, and it'll end up by your ears, and it'll be mommy's fault. And I don't. On top of everything else, I don't need to deal with teenage drama and angst. So
I hear you. I
yeah,
hear you.
put it in
Agreed.
a
You
bun, and
guys
we'll
just,
wait.
that's right. So if you are curious, I know, um, I'm not sure when this podcast will be released, but just giving you a heads up that tonight, which is Friday, the 29th of May, right now, um, we're closing in on coming into June, but today's the 29th. And so tonight on television, CBS is having Haircut Night in America.
What?
And I know we might be stretching for good quality content on TV right now if this is the case,
Yeah,
but
that's stretching it.
it's going to be hosted by Jerry O'Connell and Rebecca Romaine. And they will feature some of America's top hairstylists who will guide celebrities, including Kelly Osbourne, Lindsey Vonn, PK Subban. He's a hockey superstar. I guess
Oh
superstars,
yeah, with Nashville. Yeah.
maybe. And as well as frontline healthcare workers through the perfect DIY haircut from your home. So they're going to
Oh.
also discuss color and styling. And it says that they're going to do a cut along with people,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
they'll reveal the final looks. So
Okay.
on TV, it says, quote, "No matter the outcome."
I mean, okay.
So I mean, I don't know that it's extremely fair that like somebody like Kelly Osbourne gets to be on there because she kind of has like kooky hair anyway sometimes and has different bleach colors and pink and purple and white and then short hair, straight hair, curly hair, whatever. Like I want to see somebody who like
Like Jennifer Aniston, who
actually
cares?
makes money off their hair. You know, like Julia Roberts or something. Right? Like if you're going to cut somebody's hair, cut hers. Let's see how happy she is with that.
Can I just say, if this is the future of television,
I know. I
I,
know.
we need to Hollywood. We need to figure out something quick. If this is what we're resorting to,
It's
it,
haircut night in America.
last weekend, I think maybe it was this week. I don't know. All the days are running together, but I actually sat and watched Escape Room with Courtney Cox
Oh,
and Adam, not Adam Sandler. What's his name? Bit not Seinfeld either. Oh my goodness. The guy from Meet the Parents, Stiller, Ben
Ben
Stiller.
Stiller. Ben Stiller.
Yeah, and Lisa Kudrow and the guy from Parks and Rec, Leslie Nope's husband from Parks and Rec. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
his name. I actually sat there and watched that, and it was hosted by Jack Black. And the whole time I'm sitting there going, "This is awful." Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
So bad.
But I'm like, but there's nothing else on except coronavirus updates, and I'm done with that. I don't need to know every day that there's, it's so
That it's
dire.
still happening. Yeah.
Yeah, the numbers are still going up. It's still so dire. I'm just like, oh, I mean, I need a break from reality, but it's hard to watch my shows that I would normally watch on Netflix or on my phone. I've been trying to read more. I have read a couple books, which I'm very happy about, but it's just like I understand Hollywood's in the same position we are and they can't do anything. I can't take many more Disney sing-alongs. We've done two of them now in my house.
Yeah. They're really
I love
long
Disney,
too.
but if we do anymore, I might be Disneyed out for the summer.
I
Um,
agree. I
so
agree.
yeah,
And you know, it's hard without sports, without live TV, without things actually happening in person. You know, I mean, I can only handle so many Zoom interviewed shows. Like, I don't know, at some point it's okay. It gets to a point though that it's like, I'm tired of just the flipping back and forth. I don't know. It just doesn't never has the same feel, obviously. But I'll tell you one thing that we have kind of enjoyed. I've tried to snag it and like save it off of my social media whenever it pops up or if I see an article about it, but is where like a lot of the zoos or the farms and um, historical sites and different things are doing like all these tours and little online virtual, they're supposed to be like learning stuff or whatever, right? So my kids have enjoyed that. They watched the SpaceX thing the other day happen with NASA. They I went, and when I was doing my grocery shopping, I found postcards, and my kids have been writing postcards to some of their friends, which is kind of fun. But there was a really cute one that I wanted to pass along that might give you something else to do, your kids at least. So, there's a nonprofit animal sanctuary here in Washington State that's called Posado's Safe Haven, and they are allowing their pets to become pen pals
oh
with
my,
anyone who writes some notes. And so like you can write, you know, heart the pig or smudge the goat or blue the cow, you can write them, and in return you get a written letter from your pen pal
okay,
along with a sticker and a photo of the animal.
oh my,
and and the animal tells you a little bit about their day. So
what?
it's just, I can't even like say it with a straight face, but you know, it's something. And so, if you're
Oh my
curious,
god,
anybody out there, you can just look up Posado's Safe Haven, which is PASADO Safe Haven. And like I said, it's a nonprofit animal sanctuary in Washington. And I don't know, why not? Let's write them and see what these animals are doing all day. I'm kind of curious. Like maybe
I
adults
mean,
should
they're
write
quarantined
too.
too. They're like, this quarantine stuff is nothing new to us.
I know. I this is maybe, I don't know, maybe like I could use it too. I don't have to, maybe it's not just my kids, but they also have a guided virtual tour online so you can you can learn about like the over 200 animals that are living on their sanctuary. And I love the idea that they're nonprofit. So,
It's like, if you say it's an animal sanctuary, is it like free roaming animals that aren't like in cages? Or, I mean,
right, that's what it appears to
yeah,
be. Yes.
okay.
And I mean, I'm thinking, you know, it's like a picture more like a wildlife reserve type thing,
Right,
but these are a
yeah.
little more domesticated animals too, I guess. You know, pigs, goats, cows, along with obviously that said they have 200 and 200 more than 200 animals living at the sanctuary. So I don't know. I'm gonna check it out.
All
I'm
right.
gonna
I
see.
mean, let me
I'm
know
gonna
how that
write them a letter. It's like in your letters, it says, please include your first name and your age. So it's like, I'm Mary Margaret and I'm 40. I'm just curious. What do you guys do all day?
all right.
maybe, maybe pigs and goats and cows have some wise advice for us during these times. I don't know. But maybe it's just come to that my kids aren't the pen pals I am. Who knows? So that's Posadas. We'll check that out. You know what else? I found something else that was cute. This is my segue to go into the next topic here. I found the cutest article that just kind of popped up and was telling me, uh, whenever, of course, I pop on anything that shows Will and Kate, I'm always looking at it, right? But I found an article that says Kate Middleton and Prince William called the bingo game for a nursing home recently over Zoom.
Oh, I love it.
Yes. And they gave quotes about what they said, like how they called the numbers. And it's the cutest thing. I could totally picture them saying it. But Um, Essentially, the conversation goes like this. William says, Catherine's going to pick out the first ball. Then Kate held up the ball to the screen to the resident, saying, so for the first number is 58, 58. Okay. Then she pulls out the next ball and says, George would like this one, 5 and 5, snakes alive, referencing to her son, Prince George, after calling 55. So then every time that there was a number, she did all these little curly names with it, I guess. Like, William held up a ball and said, two little ducks, number 2, the number 2 by two little ducks. And then Kate calls up the next one saying, 8 and 7, 87, 6 and 2, tickety boo.
In the world. But this is for a nursing home, right? Like, these aren't kids.
Yes. And it says,
but in a kind of way, kind of like, I mean, these are adults. Like,
I love it. And that they talked to some of the residents. Yeah, it says, they were like, hi, Margaret, lovely to meet you. How did you get on?
I mean, I've seen a couple of their little Zoom calls, and I love it. I'm like, they're just so nice and proper. They're like, well done, well on. I'm like, I want to talk like that.
I know. I do want her to somehow work in like 62 tickety boo and two little ducks and the number 2 to like everything she says. I think it's adorable. I don't get it, but maybe that's a bingo thing. But I think it was great. I think it's cool. I think it's just a really good, visual of what people are doing right now. Zoom is obviously where it's at. They're if you bought stock in Zoom anytime in the past year, you're brilliant. But it is I don't know, it's kind of neat to see them doing something like that. So just once again proving how much we love them and why we do. I'm not going to go into Harry and Meghan right now because I know that's going to only cause you and me to fight, Jeanette.
No, never. I mean, we don't really know much about them right now, which, is fine. I'm glad
totally fine.
And I'm glad they're somewhat enjoying their time away unless they want to be out. I mean, I'm glad that they're getting this opportunity if this is what they wanted and this is what makes them happy. I mean, I'm okay with not having daily updates with them, but
absolutely.
Yeah.
So I do think it's kind of humorous that they're like, we need a break. And then they move and they go through all this drama. And then it's like, boom, quarantine.
Perfect. Told y'all. Yeah, but
I know.
They don't have to be calling the bingo for Zoom calls. They don't have to.
Absolutely. I know. So what else? Okay, so we mentioned the lack of sports right now. My husband and I, it's like, we kind of have this system, I kind of organize the bills and I have things checked off and he kind of reviews them. And then we say, okay, this is stuff you pay this part of the month. And this is the part you pay the other month, and he was looking at like some TV services and stuff that we have or that we subscribe to. And he's like, man, these costs never seem that bad whenever sports are on. But of course, whenever there's like Jack on TV, he's like, why are we paying for this?
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, don't get crazy on me now. So, but we did get our little bit of a sports fix. Did you watch The Last Dance?
Oh yeah, we watched.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, we did too. So everybody that's out there listening, in case you weren't familiar with it, The Last Dance is the quote documentary of or docu-series based around the final season that Michael Jordan played in the NBA and finished off their series run of wins. So what did you think, Jeanette?
I mean, I personally enjoyed it. It was obviously very tilted towards, the Michael Jordan story.
Sure.
But at the same time, you did get episodes that focused on Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman and the coach and all that. but
Right.
it was pretty much the Michael Jordan show, which was fine. I
Sure.
mean, it gave me a little bit more. I don't think I mean, I have never really, aside from sports, really like paid attention to Michael Jordan the person, Michael Jordan
Right.
the son, the family man. That. I mean, I've eaten at his restaurant. That's about as far as it gets outside of sports, right?
Hey, girl.
Um,
Yeah.
but
Well,
it's
I mean,
interesting to see his take on certain things and get
uh-huh.
the narrative behind some of the things that I remember, like the game where we thought he had the flu and was actually food
Flu.
poisoning, and
Yeah.
just his thoughts on the finals games and what the thought process was going into it, injuries, things like that. It was really interesting to me to hear that, not just from him, but from others, like what Dennis Rodman was going through, what Scottie Pippen
Sure.
was going through, what others around the league were thinking when they were playing them. I mean, I thought it was well done, and I would watch more of that, like not just
Yeah.
the Bulls, but other sports and other players and teams as well.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it I thought it was good. I did think it was good. I enjoyed watching it. Being from North Carolina originally and growing up a Tar Heels fan, Jordan's always been on our radar. And then, of course, just following him through the NBA, this time that this all took place, that was my senior year in high school. So I mean, everybody knew about these guys. We all knew Jordan and Pippen and everybody else. Rodman was such a showboat at that time, and it was so pop culture. It was turning page on different things. So, sports fan or not, it didn't matter really. It was more of the background behind things, which I thought was just super interesting. So, I did find a couple things interesting. So of course my husband's very involved in it, and he would read all these little articles about it afterwards and stuff. And, there was some backlash from a lot of the players that said, oh, well, that's how Jordan saw it. Jordan's just telling his side, blah, blah, blah. And that was a crappy, you can't, you can't say this is all the whole story and stuff. And, I kind of laughed because there was a big, flare up from Horace Grant. I'm not sure if you remember him or not,
Yeah.
but he like flared up in the news and stuff after his episode saying that it was very Jordan sided, and Jordan was a snitch telling all of this stuff and everything. And my whole thoughts on that is like, yeah, it was very Jordan focused, but that was the point. Like it was gonna be that way. This is supposed to be a Jordan documentary, right?
Right.
Now, granted, Kim Burns says it's not a documentary because the person that it's about gets to have a say in it, therefore it can't be a documentary. But nonetheless, I don't put Ken Burns and Michael Jordan on the same level. But Horace Grant, here he is over there causing a fuss about stuff, and I'm like, you know what, Horace, like, you sound bitter to me, so do better. Like, do better, and maybe they'll name a shoe after you, or do better and maybe they'll approach you about doing a docu-series, whatever. So I'm totally fine with the whole sided on Michael. That's fine. The thing was about him. That's what people wanted to hear anyway. It's what was going to make him money. And quite honestly, brilliant timing for releasing it early during quarantine. You had everybody watching it because they were so thirsty for sports. Thought it was great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did. Did you notice that throughout you never really saw, nor did we hear from Jordan's kids or his wife, ex-wife?
Yeah, and I read something. It wasn't like a whole article, I don't think, but it's his daughter actually came out because people were asking. You saw his mom and his dad and his brothers,
Yeah,
but you didn't really see Juanita, who he was married to during that time,
the whole time. Yeah,
or his. I mean, you saw a little bit with his son when
sure.
he was with him at a camp or something, or took him to training session. You saw a little bit of that, but his daughter basically came out and said, I mean, there's nothing that my mom could have added to it. She's fine. They've both moved on. They're both fine. They're both
Yeah,
cordial. I mean, she lived it. She doesn't need to relive it just for the sake of
that's
it.
what I read, was
Yeah.
that she was saying we were there. She's like, we've done all of it. Like,
Yeah.
it's fine. We didn't need to go back and
Yeah, I'm not
discuss or whatever.
disappointed that I wasn't asked for my feedback about what was I thinking during that time. That's not what people wanted to know. Like,
Absolutely.
the thing about his
Absolutely.
parents was because, obviously we want to know, you know, what and who made Michael Jordan who he is.
Yeah,
And then the whole situation with his father being killed. I mean, that was
of course.
obviously a background story that people were interested in hearing. I don't know that people were interested in hearing where his wife sat during the game. I mean, I think he talked about it a little bit about when he said he was uncomfortable with his family at times being in the Utah, but
Right.
it wasn't something that I think needed to be. It wasn't critical to the story of their last season together. That really
Exactly.
would have made it the Michael Jordan story because we weren't asking
Sure.
everybody else, well, where was your wife during the game? And where were
Right.
your kids? But
Well,
yeah,
and think about it. Like we saw a little bit of Michael's mom in interviews. Like
right,
very little though, right? Michael's mom was very, very little, minimal, as well as his brother was very minimal. And then that wasn't even all the siblings, but one of them spoke a little bit. But then, I mean, Pippin's in there all the time, right? Because Pippin is part of that story.
right.
Um, that's what the whole Last Dance is about. Um, I did love that, Pippin was a little bitter about being on there and not not loving his role on there. But of course, they did a whole episode about Pippin not getting paid enough money. And then his ex-wife came out afterwards and was like, by the way, here's how much money he made. Did just fine.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, better party of two? Great. Here we
Yeah,
go.
and let me say, I was just a little annoyed with her feedback after every episode that she would
Oh,
put out there. I'm just like, I mean, nobody really cares. I mean, we're not,
she's bitter.
obviously, none
She's
of us sit here and think that
very bitter.
Scottie Pippen is, sitting somewhere broke and
Right.
having to work like, uh, just picking up trash somewhere or work an office job to get by, whatever. We're not thinking that he's struggling by any means.
Right.
But I don't need you to put out there like, well, he made this much money from endorse. I mean, if you want to do it, fine. But to me, I was just kind of like, what are you doing? What's your point in all
Yeah.
this?
Yeah. So, and this is kind of shifting gears, but I watched that, have you seen that Netflix show Selling Sunset?
No.
Okay. So it's like $1 million listing, like on Bravo,
Okay.
but with females as the agents, and they're selling like multi-million-dollar homes on the Sunset Strip. And they're like from the top agency and stuff, and they're all like, I mean, it's a Bravo show posted on Netflix, essentially.
Oh,
Selling Sunset, right? But on one of those most recent episodes that I saw, because they only release a season at a time, of course. So season 2 is out now. And on one of the final episodes, the one of the clients is Pippin's ex-wife.
oh,
I
okay.
mean, they don't say
Spending
much
his
other
money,
than that, but it's her.
spending the money that she bragged about.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, so she was on there, and her agent, which is one of the stars of the show, is Chriselle, who was married to Justin Hartley, who is the guy from This Is Us
Oh
that
yeah,
plays
yeah.
whatever his name is. Um, but he just blindsided her with the divorce, so I know that's coming up in the next season.
Oh really?
Nonetheless, I digress. Yes,
Oh,
the show's worth watching. Selling Sunset. If you like any Bravo drama shows, there you go. Okay, so we saw that. We saw The Last Dance. We saw all kinds of controversy come out of it. That's great. Now they have ordered the Tom Brady story. By the way, after the success of The Last Dance, ESPN has ordered the Tom Brady docu-series. This one, not as excited about, just gonna
right.
be
I'm
honest.
like, okay, my husband will
Yeah,
watch it. I'm sure.
I don't really care. So yeah, so maybe there's people out there. I get it, sure, but I am not one of them that cares to follow the Tom Brady story. But if you are, then get ready. It should be a 10-part series coming up. just as The Last Dance was.
Yeah,
Anywho,
I wish they would have. I mean, I'm glad they put it out and I watched it, but I almost wish they would have extended it to 10 weeks instead of giving us 2 episodes a week for 5
to an
weeks.
episode.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah. So
I
I mean,
agree.
but I mean, it's fine. Whatever.
Yeah. I'm glad it came out. I was glad to have it. Totally, totally cool. Hey, you know what, Jeanette?
What
What
is?
is one thing in your day-to-day life that you wish you had somebody else doing?
Oh my gosh! Right now, cooking,
Cooking.
cooking, and
Excellent.
cleaning my kitchen on a daily basis.
Cleaning your kitchen. Yes,
And my
cleaning the
bathroom.
kitchen.
I feel like let me just say housework and cooking overall
Laundry.
because I feel like I've done more laundry, more
Mm-hmm.
cleaning and scrubbing, and definitely more cooking since this whole
Yes,
thing's been going on. I'm fine with
I
the
hear
cleaning
you.
because that's stuff that I would do normally. I mean, and I cook normally too. I just don't cook this much. So I'm
There's
running
just
out of
so much
ideas.
of it right now, right?
What is that?
Well, there's just so much of all of this right now. Like it's all heightened. My dishwasher is exhausted, my stovetop is exhausted, my sink is, you know, overworked. My whole kitchen needs some love. But I wanted to give a shout out to the sponsor of our show this episode is Time Genies. If you are not familiar with Time Genies, you totally should go check them out on their website at time-genies.com. This is a concierge service. They are concierge and errand service. They do corporate work or personal work. So, corporate office cleaning, corporate office organization, have them come to your house and do cleaning. They'll do organizing, they'll do staging for selling your house, they'll clean, they they'll go wash your car or have pick up your dry cleaning, things like that that if you need extra time and hands, these are the people to call. Karen Tonks is the head time genie over there and she is amazing to work with. But I encourage everyone to go check out and thank you Time Genies for sponsoring Chick Chat here on the Mesh.
Yes,
Sounds like a dream to
they
me.
sound
I need a
amazing.
time genie.
Yes, they sound like someone who needs to become your new best friend.
I think so. So thank you so much to Time Genies. Everybody go check them out at time-genies.com. Okay, so let's get into the good stuff here. I got some, we appeased everybody by talking about Michael Jordan for a minute, but so give me your initial thoughts, Jeanette, on Machine Gun Kelly.
I have no
Off the
thoughts on
cuff.
Machine Gun Kelly.
You don't have any thoughts on okay,
I
so
mean, I don't have any initial thoughts. I'd have to think about it. I mean, I know who he is.
okay.
That's my
So
thought.
I'm
I
kind of
know
the
who
same
he
way.
is.
You know how I know Machine Gun Kelly best is by his portrayal of Tommy Lee in Dirt on Netflix, the
Oh, yeah,
Motley
that's
Crue
right. He
story.
did play him. Yep.
Okay, so that was an acting role, and I didn't even, I knew that this guy made music, right? Um, I just wasn't familiar with any of it. Personally, I don't really care for the fact that you call yourself Machine Gun Kelly. I think it's stupid. That's not really your name, but whatever. Um, So, rumor has it, Brian Austin Green of our beloved 90210 franchise, um, and his wife, Megan Fox, have separated.
Oh no.
So, right after this separation was announced, um, Megan Fox appeared in a very sultry music video with Machine Gun Kelly. It's Machine Gun Kelly's new song, and it's called Bloody Valentine. And if you go and watch the music video, I actually kind of like the song. I kind of dig it. I kind of like the song. I kind of like the video. Might be a Machine Gun Kelly fan if I can find some other name to call him. But um, now the rumors, of course, out there are that Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox have had a little something going on. Therefore, Brian Austin Green has been left in the dust.
Oh my.
Yes.
Well, that's an
So I'm
interesting
going to need you
switch.
to go watch Bloody Valentine music video.
Yeah.
and see what you think, if this is really a possibility or not. I know she's an actor, and I know he's an actor, and believe me, I use those terms lightly with both of them. But she has been seen out in public and stuff. Oh, by the way, Machine Gun Kelly's real name is Colson Baker. Thank you. I shall call you Colson. That's
Colson
it.
Baker.
Colson Baker. I mean, we
He
might as
just
well be
grabbed Kelly
related.
from nowhere. Maybe it's Colson Kelly Baker. I don't
Yeah,
know.
well,
We'll
Machine
never
Gun
know.
Kelly's like a famous mobster, right?
Hey, maybe it is. Yeah, Machine Gun Kelly. If you're listening, let us know how you came up with your name.
Yeah, why? Silly.
I mean, inquiring minds
Um,
want to know. It's
I understand, and I don't like having to call you like three names like that when two of them aren't real names, Machine and Gun.
MGK,
I'm not calling.
MGK.
Just call you Kelly if you really want that. But anyway, so people are saying that, Megan Fox and Colson Baker are enjoying their time together during the pandemic, but I don't know if that's all true or not. So anyway, that might be a couple to watch, but their video is definitely making waves. So go check that out on your next deep dive. Speaking of deep dives, we're going to go right into a hot topic that I believe we've discussed a lot on before. We need to address it. Southern Charm on Bravo is going to look hella different whenever it comes back for their next season, and I don't know how I feel about
Yeah,
it.
I'm
Have you
disappointed.
heard all the drama?
I'm so disappointed. A couple of my faves
Absolutely.
are not going to be there, and I'm a little verklempt about it.
I am. Little upset. The rumors have now been confirmed that Cameron will not be returning to Southern Charm based off of some ugly, ugly rumors, which were, she has noted, are only rumors, and of cheating on her husband's part, our beloved Jason, as we all know. Um, she has come out and said these are silly rumors and that she will not participate in the show anymore because it is just bringing this unnecessary drama into her life. So Cameron has moved on. Since then, both Naomi and Chelsea have backed out of the show as well, in sort of a solidarity view, but also in the fact I think they were kind of waiting on somebody else to jump ship so they could follow along. They don't like the cattiness that has come out of Catherine Dennis. Shocker. Catherine has apologized for her somewhat jabbing comments about Cameron's husband. She says she has proof, says she has things that she knows, but she put it out there on like some sort of public show that Jason was not the right person to be with Cameron or something, and she kind of hinted around, tipped her around stuff. Well, that's when Chelsea and Naomi stepped up and are like, "You're ridiculous," and then they kind of jabbed at her for some other things, and now they're all three leaving the show. I don't know how they're going to get by. Shep is a hot mess these days. I feel like Shep has worn out his welcome.
He's going to be a bigger hot mess without Cameron.
Without Cameron there, absolutely.
Well, and to backtrack on that story, wasn't part of it also that the woman that Catherine accused Jason of cheating with actually came out and said, "I don't even know him. You're claiming my name, and this is not true." She's like a makeup artist or something based in Charleston.
She is a makeup artist, yeah. And I think Cameron knows her because at one point Cameron actually said, "You were blasting this kind and beautiful innocent girl, that has nothing to do with this and don't even know what you're talking about." So
I don't understand
Catherine.
Why does she get involved? I don't understand her motives. I don't understand why she does the things she does, especially I think Catherine, especially because of the things that have been said about her and the problems that she's had, and
you would think of all times,
right?
Yeah, of all people, you're the one that should just keep your mouth shut and be thankful that you're not the topic of drama anymore.
I gotta say, Bravo's got to be spinning right now because not knowing what to do. Because it's one thing for Cameron, who's our beloved narrator and real world alum, and I just loved having her on the show. She wasn't around too much, but she came around just enough to provide that settling calmness, that voice of reason at times, but also sometimes being really funny and just connecting with her friends.
Absolutely.
Loved
Yeah.
her experiences with her baby because it was so real. She was like, "This is a struggle."
Yeah, and
And I loved it.
she was also the non-trust fund one,
Right. Yes.
She kind of made that very clear. She's like, I don't have a trust fund. I don't come from this. Like, I've kind of, I do have to work. All those things.
Yeah.
And that's just that was super refreshing to always see back then. And now we're not going to get that. And I'm super upset about it.
Well, and Chelsea was the same way to me. I felt like she was one of those people who veered away from the drama.
Yeah, she cut all their hair.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know. And I was enjoying Naomi too. Like,
she had finally gotten to the point that I enjoyed her.
So basically, right now, unless they recast, which I don't know that I'm a fan of, it's going to be all the Southern Charm boys and Catherine.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm not in. There's only so much in Austin and Craig. Oh my gosh, I cannot take Craig for more than I need to.
Well, I was such a Shep fan for so long because I just thought it was almost endearing and adorable. But now I don't think it is. And I'm kind of just done with Shep on that level for sure. Because he's my age, and I'm not saying you have to be settled down by that time, but his lifestyle is just getting out of hand to where it's embarrassing, some of the stuff he does. So I'm overall not excited about what's going to happen. We know Thomas is gone, like that's never coming back, Ashley has made it very clear she's not coming back, all of which I am totally fine with. But oh goodness, I knocked my mic over. But still, nonetheless, it's going to change the whole premise of the whole show. Everything.
Oh, yeah.
Did you watch season 1? Have you watched from the very beginning?
I have. Well, yes. That's when they had a couple of people that aren't there anymore. I don't think I watched that one as much. I think, well, I don't remember if I watched the whole season, but yes, I did see most of the first season.
Yeah. So, Cameron's been there since season 1, but it has been a very different cast, and they made mention of one of the cast members. I can't remember her first name. She was on it on season 1, but she kind of dropped off the face because she was tired of the drama after one season. So, I guess good for Cameron, like good for them. I do think Cameron's the type of person, though, unfortunately, I don't know her personally, clearly, but I kind of feel like she's going to miss it, Yeah. But nobody wants to be placed in that drama. Unfortunately, she put herself in that situation with having been on a show like this, but still, nobody deserves it, especially when it comes to your marriage. So I hate that that's going to happen.
Because I felt like Cameron always had Catherine's back.
Yep. And she was always straightforward with her,
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. I will be curious to watch, but I'm not holding my breath for enjoying it.
And you know what? If it were true, that's supposed to be your friend. If she's dealing with something, let her deal with it personally. I mean, Jason stays off the show for a reason.
Absolutely.
So to drag him into it is just completely unfair.
Yeah. I know. Well, we'll see. We'll all be in tune watching for that.
They give them their own spinoff. I'll watch that. I'll watch that show.
I'd watch that all day long. Real Housewives of Charleston or something. I don't know. Speaking of housewives, and my final topic of the day, saving the best for last, in my opinion, something I realized, I actually went back and looked at some of our show descriptions. Do you realize we've never really talked that much about Vanderpump Rules on this show?
And we should.
And I'm not sure why. but I agree it deserves to be discussed. And here we are at the end of another season, and we have not discussed it. So we are coming up just a few days away from the Vanderpump Season 8 reunion, which will be done via Zoom, and I'm bitter about it. But have you watched the preview for the upcoming reunion?
I have.
And do you think it's going to be as good as I think it's going to be?
I hope so.
I
My
do too.
expectations are very high, and I hope I'm
Yes,
not disappointed.
agreed. I'm gonna need you to tell me your favorite male on Vanderpump and your favorite female on Vanderpump.
Okay, so I love Ariana. It's my favorite female,
Okay.
and I also I think I have a tie between um, both Toms, Tom Sandoval and
Tom
Tom
and Tom,
Schwartz.
of course.
Tom Schwartz is just so silly and lovable, and he tries just to stay out of the way. But
Yeah,
Tom Sandoval brings just entertainment factor. Like those two
100%.
together, if I could put those two together, Tom is my favorite male.
Tom and Tom. I do agree. I think I do love Katie Maloney Schwartz. Katie something about her, and she's a little straight shooter. I kind of like that. I also I've always kind of been a Stassi fan in a weird way, just because I do think she's kind of funny, with some of the things she says. But I definitely didn't like Stassi with like Jax. I like Stassi now because I
Um,
love Bo.
oh my gosh, how could I forget? But Bo's one of my faves too. I don't have a problem with any of the males except for one, but
Or what?
I really like the whole cast. To be honest, I don't like how Lala is kind of biting and mean to some of the
Yeah,
girls, and I'm starting to
agreed.
like. I like most of them, to be honest. Like they both, all of most of them bring something interesting. I don't know that I mean, I'm not a Jax or Brittany fan. Um,
Same.
I'm not a Kristen fan. I'm not a
Right.
Lala fan, but everyone else,
I'm really not a Kristen fan. I've never been a Kristen fan. I don't care for her. Um, and I've never been a Jax fan, and so therefore I haven't been a Britney fan. Um, I also don't really care for Sheena. Like,
oh yeah, I
unfortunately,
forgot about her. Actually forgot
she's
that she
been
was in
around
the
for
show.
so long. She's been around a long time and stuff, but I just think she's kind of trashy. I don't really care that much for how she carries herself and how she has friendships. How she manages them. So I yeah. It's funny to say this, but I like the older members of the cast, like the ones that are getting married, the ones that are
Yeah,
settling down, stuff like that, or buying a house together. Like that's kind of that group that I care for. Um, but the season is over, the reunion's coming up, and I'm anxious to see what's going down because now they're tying in people like Max and Brett and Danica or whatever that mean girl's name is. Um, and they're all gonna be there. Like, and Lisa, there's a moment in the preview that all their jaws drop, and I'm dying to know what it is.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know. It
I
looks
have no
like,
idea what it could be.
well, it looks like they're talking, and of course, magic of editing, but it looks like they're all talking to Max about who he's been, quote, hooking up with. But
Yeah, there's no telling. It could be anybody.
it could be with
It
Max
could be
because he's
anybody.
got quite the reputation for that. So I'm pretty sure it could be anybody. And I just don't know why their jaws would drop. But
Right, and I don't know that I would be shocked or why they would be. Like, it's Max.
right, exactly.
Unless you come out with Andy Cohen, I'm not shocked.
I, yeah, unless it's like that, then or like Lisa herself,
Or Lisa
then I'm not.
Vanderpump, right?
Yeah.
Then I'm shocked.
Um, one of my favorite parts about some of those guys is how infatuated with Lisa they are.
Oh my gosh. Lisa's probably my all-time favorite. It can't be Lisa.
Of course.
It can't be that Vanderpump Rules without Lisa.
Of course. And I mean, I love how Tom Schwartz is like drooly, like puppy dog eyed over her.
Oh, and I love that
It's,
Katie has fun with it.
of course, it's so cute.
Yeah.
It's super cute. I love Tom Schwartz. That's the best kind of Tom Schwartz,
He
is when
gets
he's
so
all,
yeah, he gets so puppy dog eyes and giddy around Lisa. He's always like,
it's
Lisa.
silly, it's fun.
Yeah.
I love it. So yeah, so we will have to recap after we see the reunion. But I would love anybody's opinion out there to chime in on what you think is happening on the reunion, what you thought of this season. Wonder why we haven't ever really talked about this show before. I don't really know. Um, but yeah, we have had, enough to get by, I think, to continue on with the show and have these discussions, even though we've been on lockdown and been deprived of live and new television stuff. So thank goodness for Bravo. Thank goodness for E Entertainment. Thank goodness for Netflix and every other thing like that. So goodness, I can't believe we are still doing shows in quarantine, but I'm glad you're happy and safe and healthy, Jeanette, over in North Carolina.
And I'm glad you're healthy, woo, and safe in Washington.
Thank you. Well, we are glad that you are listening to Chick Chat. We've got a little shout out to Lynn up in Canada, who wrote to me her thoughts on the soap opera stories that we watched recently, the history of soaps.
Okay.
Man, that was good. If anybody needs something to watch and you ever had any little tidbit of soap operas in your life, you need to go watch this special that was on TV. It was only about an hour long. ABC did it last week. It was great. I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad Lynn did too, and we had a great conversation about it. But we would love to hear from you. If you have anything to add to the show, any questions, thoughts, feedback, or if you had a topic you want us to discuss, I'm happy to watch anything on TV and tell you what I think about it. I know Jeanette doesn't mind. She'll do it too. Jeanette can watch a show even when she knows the ending, right, girl?
I don't care.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Jeanette says, tell me what happens. I'll still watch it. So yeah, but thanks for tuning in here to Chick Chat on the Mesh. Again, thanks to Time Genies for sponsoring the show. Be sure to check them out at time-genies.com online and contact Karen for more information. Until next time, Jeanette, hunker down.
Will do.
All right. Thanks, guys. Check out every other show on the mesh.tv if you're looking for some variety. And until next time, we will catch you on the flip side.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.